Good afternoon, my name is Jonathan Page. I am a business attorney and founder of InPrime Legal. Today we're going to discuss screening strategies for top talent. Now in previous videos, we referred to the entire talent pipeline. Sourcing, of course, is identifying what your top talent looks like and where they exist in the marketplace of talent. So we encourage you to put together an ideal candidate profile. What does your top talent look like? This might be based on other top talent in your organization. Once you've done this, then we've encouraged you to put together what we call a behavioral description. This description is not just looking at attributes of your candidates, but actual behaviors. What behaviors would you notice that would tell you, man, this would be somebody who would be a top talent or a rock star in our organization? And then once you've done that, you're going to engage that top talent out there in the workplace. So you'll put together a job posting or job announcement. This job posting is meant to be a marketing piece. Again, it should describe that your organization has a better boss. It's got a brighter future. It offers a bigger vision. These are the three characterizations that Mark Miller in his book Talent Magnet described as the three primary characterizations that attract top talent. So you want to make sure you're broadcasting that to your marketplace of talent. And then, of course, based on all of that, you'll put together a sourcing strategy. That gets us to screening. So today we're going to discuss a very simple and easy to implement screening process, step by step, that you can implement into your organization today in order to start screening out those bad hires, those Dwight Schrutes as we refer to them, and screening in your good hires, your Captain Marvels. See, we've already screened them out. They won't even stay up there. And of course your Captain Marvels, who does stick up there. Screening in your good hires. So let's jump to it, step by step. So the first step would be to review the application materials. Now, our recommendation is that you have some sort of checklist that allows you to review these apples to apples. And this can include also having a job application. Now, what you're looking at in our materials is the checklist that we use. So we ask, did the applicant comply with the application submission instructions? Did they have the right email subject line, which we incorporated into the job posting? Again, we're testing for attention to detail because in this particular materials that we're sharing with you, we're recruiting paralegals, and it's key that they have a very high attention to detail, especially if they're working on contracts and other transaction documents. So we ask that here in our checklist. Did the applicant's cover letter contain any grammatical errors or misspellings? Was the cover letter well written and professional? Did the applicant complete all the required parts of the job application? Did the applicant's writing sample contain any grammatical errors? So this is the checklist we're using that we have our HR department use to review each application submission that we receive, and it allows us to weed out those that we know automatically won't be a good fit for the position, and to keep in those applications that have the most potential to be top talent. So that leaves us to our second step, which is the phone interview. The phone interview is a great way to weed out other applicants even further without really committing a lot of resources or energy to the application process. You do an in-person interview with 20 applicants, which is what a lot of organizations do. That is a lot of time and a lot of resources being dedicated, but these phone interviews really take 15 or 20 minutes. Now with a phone interview, we recommend that you use a script. A phone interview script ensures that you ask the same questions of every applicant. This helps prevent any future claims that you asked illegal questions or questions that violated federal and state labor laws. You can show any future court or the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, hey, these are the questions we asked of every applicant. We've got a script, and based on my handwriting, you can verify that I asked these questions because I wrote down the responses of the people that I interviewed. So that's just a quick tip to help position yourself better to avoid any future claims of unlawful discrimination. So as you can see here, the questions are pretty straightforward. We don't ask a lot of questions. We only have 13 here. And then we do an assessment afterwards to check for cultural fit, talent, energy, experience, and advancement. We've got a place to note any candidate strengths and candidate weaknesses, and then any additional comments. Again, this allows us to compare apples to apples and not apples to oranges with regards to our candidates. So the next step, once you've narrowed the pool down even further, would be to move to candidate homework. We have a whole video we're going to do on simulations and candidate homework, but this is going to allow you to further eliminate those bad hires and keep in those potential top talent. Moving to step 4 would be a pre-hire assessment. We use Employee Test. The CEO is Ken Kroll. He's got a great company, and you can pick a variety of different tests that you would have the applicants take. They usually take 30 to 45 minutes. That gives you an idea of various behaviors that you're looking for in your top talent, and you can fit the test to the position or to the customer service, those sort of things, based on what you're trying to hire for. Step 5 would be your reference phone interviews. These are the references that you likely asked for at the beginning. Once you've narrowed down that pool to just a handful, maybe 5 or 6, now you can go and call on references. What you're looking at on the screen is our reference phone interview form. As you can see, we're typically just asking them to verify dates of employment, verify position title, verify job duties, personal references, how are you related to the candidate. We're looking for conflicts of interest. What we're really looking for is this candidate honest, or is this candidate someone who is going to exaggerate or be misleading about the information that they've submitted. You can quickly verify that just based on asking some simple questions with the reference interview. Now, a note of caution. If they've listed a reference of the employer they are currently working for, then you need to verify with the candidate first that it's okay to call that employer. The candidate may have not told the employer that they're leaving yet, and you just want to be sensitive to that. All of that can be handled during the phone interview. It can be a checklist item you put on your phone interview form to ensure that you ask about that before doing any reference calls. Step 6 is going to be your in-person interviews. Now, hopefully you're down to 2 or 3 candidates. We typically spend 2.5 hours during an interview because we're digging deep. We don't want to do that with 20 applicants. We want to do that with the 2 or 3 that we now feel strongly all could be rock stars or top talent with our organization. We're going to have a whole video on how to conduct an in-person interview, so there's going to be a lot more on that later. So step 7, our last step, is going to be your receptionist evaluation form. So now what you're looking at on the screen is the evaluation form that we use. We're asking our receptionist, did the candidate make eye contact? Did they actively listen? Did they build rapport? Did they have a professional appearance and attitude? What are any other final comments that they have with regards to the candidate? This serves 2 purposes. One, it subtly lets your receptionist know that you value their input and that they're an important part of the process of who they invite into the culture of the company. So it's just a great way to reinforce that with your receptionist and that you value them. And secondly, the candidate is likely not expecting the receptionist to be observing their attitude and conduct and so forth. Obviously, when they walk into the interview, they're going to switch it on and they're going to be the best that they could be, but that's not necessarily reflective of how they're going to be day to day if you hire them. How they interact with the receptionist, however, will likely be much more reflective of how they're going to be day to day within your company. So if they have a good attitude or if they don't make eye contact, that's going to give you some really good intel on that candidate. So this is a very easy and simple step-by-step process that you can implement for screening in your top talent and screening out your bad hires. My name is Jonathan Page. I'm a business attorney and founder of InPrime Legal. For more resources on screening strategies, please visit our website at www.inprimelegal.com or look underneath this video for a link to those resources. See you next time.